Welcome back. I'm Tedward, and today, thanks to Aston Auto Boutique in Acton, Massachusetts, we're driving this gorgeous 2014 Aston Martin Vanquish Volante. This is the convertible flagship Aston Martin V12 that would have signified that you were the king of your neighborhood in 2014. It has 565 horsepower from its 6-liter V12. Actually, it's a 5.9 liter, but it says 6 all over it, so we'll give it to it. It's littered in carbon fiber because, man, oh man, I guess they needed to try to reduce the weight of this barge, and it has probably one of my favorite interiors ever in any car. This is bitter chocolate, and the deviated stitching on these seats is just incredibly classy. You'll start to notice little pieces of carbon fiber all over the vehicle. In fact, this front bonnet is carbon fiber, the trunk is carbon fiber, this giant carbon splitter, obviously carbon fiber, and this is probably the best looking Aston Martin in modern day, still to this day. I think this has not been exceeded. Behind these gorgeous 20-inch wheels lie the carbon ceramic brakes, great for repeated stops. Not that you'll probably be making those in this. It's certainly not a track rat, but it's wrapped in 255 section tires in the front and 305s in the rear to put down that torque. Now, one of my favorite lines of this car is on this trunk because this integrated spoiler in the bodywork looks so voluptuous and beautiful in a Volante spec as a convertible. I think this even looks better than the coupe. And let's take a look, because you do get a little bit of trunk space. Not a lot, but a little. And you've got your little wind deflector here, color matched carpeting, and a CD changer, as you would. That's class back in the day. But like I said, this is carbon fiber, everything in the name of sort of weight savings, despite being a giant leather heavy vehicle. Let's take a look under the hood. But first, man, take a look at this sort of squared off steering wheel. It gives you the Formula One vibes of the time. And to open this very light hood, there's sort of a T-grip right here, and you just pull it. So I'll show you that right here. It's just this guy. Just pull that, and it opens both of these clips, and then you can see the exposed carbon fiber. Hood struts, of course, probably fairly weak, so it doesn't shoot this off the car to the moon. And then there is our beautiful, naturally aspirated V12, giving us the raucous sounds of Britain's finest. So let's get out there and take this for a ride, because it's a lovely day. The clouds are out, so I won't get too sunburned, and this is one of my favorite things. Now, you'll notice that the Aston Martin badge is black because that is usually reserved for the top tier vehicles. So you'll notice in most cars, a DB9, a DB7, that'll be green, but in a DBS or a Vanquish, it's black. If it's a Zagato, it's red. There are seats in the back, albeit quite small. That's more of a parcel shelf, or if you have legless children. To start the Vanquish, we take our crystal key, a thing of the past, and man, oh man, they should have kept these. They are so beautiful. They have the right weight to them, and you plug them in right in the center of the vehicle. Up pops our center display. We get our fuel pump running. I do have luxuries that would have been a little more fancy in 2014. I have a cooled seat, and I can literally feel the motors running in this seat. It's almost like a massager, the level of energy going in to cooling this seat. This V12 sounds phenomenal. That never gets old. To put it in drive, select D. We'll remove our parking brake, and away we go. You'll notice that when you pull away in the regular mode, it really wants to give you that upshift. It's the nature of this 6-speed automatic to just keep it super chill, super tame. If we put it in sport mode, you'll get that downshift, and it gets a little more furious. Later cars, there was a facelift of the Vanquish, got an 8-speed auto. That 8-speed really changed the character of the car, and they're worth quite a bit more because of it. I think I used to be a lot more down on this 6-speed in the past. But it's not a race car. It's okay that this is a bit docile. It doesn't need to give you the raucous, aggressive upshifts that every other supercar gives, because first and foremost, this is actually a luxury car. So I do have these leather-wrapped paddles behind the steering wheel. They are column mounted, they don't move with the wheel. Even though we're wide, we have plenty of room. I much prefer the Volante to the coupe. I think the coupe is very claustrophobic. This has an incredible rake on the windshield, almost like a Lamborghini Huracan. It's very flat, so when you don't have a roof, it does feel pretty tight. With this, with the roof down, I feel like the world is open. I feel like this is so much more appropriate. Thank you for not cutting me off. I feel like I thank people for things I don't really need to thank them for. There's a real charm in kind of cruising around in these cars with the roof down, not going crazy. Not to mention the fact that this town has definitely upped its police game, so we don't really need to get caught doing anything silly. Nor would I here anyway. It's school vacation, kids are out, but the vibe of the Vanquish isn't to be a little speed racer angering the public. It's to be a classy gentleman who, in the event of needing to cover an alarming amount of ground on the highway, has the V12 to do so. If I bought this car, I think I would pin the exhaust valves open. What a beautiful day. This thing just sounds incredible. That's a Vanquish house. I could park the Vanquish there. It would look appropriate. You feel like an architect driving this thing. Positive reinforcement. I've been thanking people for not cutting me off lately, because it's better than the road rage you feel screaming at people. I'd rather instead of reprimand people and make them be on the defense, I'd rather just thank them for being safe drivers. These carbon brakes, despite being pretty intense for 2014, work incredibly well at low speeds. That's a compromise that sometimes was made with the old carbon ceramics, was that if you had the carbon ceramics, then maybe they were the better track brake, but they were squeaky, they were loud, they were basically useless unless you got some heat into them. These function perfectly well. front of the car is actually really connected. It's a nice engaging experience through the steering wheel. I wish these speed limits were like 70. notice those upshifts. You don't get like a crisp shunt into the next gear. It's a little bit of a drag. And at redline, when you're in like drive mode and you let it automatically select your next gear, it does give you a pretty good upshift, but just kind of in that mid-range, it's not snappy. But that's not the point of this car. If you want a Lamborghini, go get the Lamborghini. This it is not. The 8-speed is a little snappier in that mid-range, but I gotta say, this is not as much of a dog as I remembered it. It's pretty good. Maybe it's because the roof is down. I'm gonna go mosey my way back to Acton Auto Boutique in this beautiful Aston Martin and enjoy the top-down drive along the way. Thank you guys so much for watching, liking, commenting, and subscribing. Don't forget to respect the drive, and I'll see you in the next one.